Have you ever wondered what the world will look like today if America had never left Britain? Welcome to the truth. And this is what if America never left Britain. If America had never separated from Britain, the course of world history would have taken a drastically different path. The effects would have reshaped global politics, economics, warfare, technology, and even cultural identity. In this video, we explore what might have happened if the American Revolution had never occurred or had failed, keeping the 13 colonies under British rule. Without the loss of its American colonies in the late 18th century, Britain would have maintained direct control over one of the richest and most resource-abundant territories in the world. The 13 colonies were not only economically valuable, but also strategically positioned. By keeping America, Britain would have continued to extract vast amounts of natural resources such as timber, tobacco, cotton, and later, industrial raw materials like iron and coal. These resources would have accelerated Britain's industrial revolution, potentially making the empire an even greater economic powerhouse by the early 19th century. With a secure and growing colony in North America, Britain would have faced less economic strain from its wars with France, particularly during the Napoleonic Wars. The added manpower and financial support from the American colonies would have allowed Britain to expand its global influence even further. With America firmly under British control, it is likely that Napoleon's ambitions in Europe would have been thwarted more quickly. Britain historically relied on American trade and manpower during its conflicts with France. If America remained a loyal colony, Britain would have had additional soldiers, supplies, and economic support in its war against Napoleon. Also, the War of 1812, which was fought between Britain and the United States, would never have occurred. Instead, American forces might have been used to fight against France, making it harder for Napoleon to sustain his campaigns. Britain's dominance over Europe might have been solidified much earlier, potentially preventing later conflicts like the unification of Germany and even altering the course of World War I. One of the most significant consequences of America remaining under British rule would have been the absence of the U.S. Constitution and the democratic principles it inspired worldwide. The ideas of popular sovereignty, individual liberties, and the separation of powers central to the U.S. government would not have spread as rapidly across the globe. Without the American Revolution, the French Revolution might not have been as influential or might not have happened at all. The revolution in France was inspired, in part, by the success of the American colonies in breaking free from monarchy. If the colonies had remained British, the spread of republican ideals would have been much slower. Monarchies in Europe might have persisted longer, delaying the rise of modern democratic governments. The American Revolution played a crucial role in the gradual decline of slavery. While the United States initially allowed slavery, the ideals of freedom and liberty from British rule later contributed to the abolitionist movement. If America had remained under British control, the abolition of slavery might have taken longer. Britain abolished slavery in its colonies in 1833, but if America had remained a colony, economic dependence on slave labor, particularly in the South, could have slowed the process. There might not have been an American Civil War, but slavery might have persisted well into the late 19th or even early 20th century, especially in the southern colonies. One major internal conflict that shaped the United States was the Civil War 1861 to 1865. This war was largely driven by the divide between the North and South over slavery and economic differences. If America had remained a British colony, the Civil War might never have occurred. Instead, Britain would have been responsible for handling the tensions between industrialized northern colonies and the agrarian southern colonies. This could have resulted in a different form of compromise or conflict, possibly even a rebellion within British America. However, any such rebellion would have been crushed by Britain's superior military, much like the failed uprisings in Ireland and India. The United States' entry into World War I in 1917 was a turning point for the Allies. If America had remained British, the British war effort might have been stronger from the beginning, possibly leading to an earlier Allied victory. However, without an independent America, there might not have been a separate U.S. economy to fund the post-war rebuilding process, leading to longer economic instability. The U.S. played a decisive role in defeating Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan during World War II. Without an independent America, the war might have played out differently. Britain and its colonies, including British America, might have been able to fight Germany, but without the industrial and military capacity of the independent U.S., the war could have lasted longer or even ended with a different outcome. Additionally, without the U.S. as a superpower, the Cold War between the Soviet Union and the West might have been entirely different. If America had remained under British rule, the post-World War II era would have seen a vastly different global landscape. The Cold War might have been between the British Empire and the Soviet Union, rather than between the U.S. and the USSR. Britain, with its vast colonial holdings, might have continued to resist communism, but without an independent American economy and military, its ability to counter Soviet expansion could have been weaker. The British Empire, already in decline after World War II, might have struggled to maintain global dominance, possibly leading to a multipolar world where multiple nations, rather than just the US and USSR, competed for influence. Hollywood, American pop music, and American-style capitalism would not have dominated global culture. British culture, with its aristocratic traditions, might have remained more influential worldwide. If America had never separated from Britain, the world would have been shaped by a stronger, more prolonged British Empire. Democracy might have spread more slowly. The Cold War might have been between Britain and the USSR, and major global conflicts, like the World Wars, would have taken a different course. The United States' absence as a global superpower would have reshaped economics, politics, and even cultural development. While some aspects of history might have been more stable, such as fewer internal American conflicts, other areas, such as the abolition of slavery and the spread of democracy, might have been delayed. Ultimately, an America that never gained independence would have meant a world still heavily influenced by British rule, a world where monarchy and aristocracy remained stronger, and where the modern ideals of democracy, individualism, and self-determination might have emerged much later, if at all. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then like and subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos.